guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to share with you guys tips and tricks on selling crochet items at a market. Now these tips and tricks can be applied to other businesses, specifically handmade products, but I sell crocheted plushies, so this is where all my tips are coming from. So they can be applied to another business, but they will obviously be most beneficial to someone that is also selling crochet items, specifically plushies. So I just want to say I'm no professional in this field for markets or anything like that. I'm just sharing with you guys things that I've learned throughout the few years that I've been doing markets. I've learned a lot of things that I wish I knew before starting doing markets, so I'm going to share that with you guys. So the first tip that I have for you guys is do not change your prices for anybody, whether they are saying that you should lower your prices or that you should put your prices higher. Now, it's definitely okay to change your prices, but do it because you want to or because you have a reason to. Don't do it because someone told you to. So for example, I used to make these little turtles. I have a picture, so I'll put one up here. But I don't make them anymore. But I used to make them and sell them for $5, and they took me a lot more time that is worth selling for $5. And I used to sell them for $5, and then I came to the conclusion that I should charge more. So I had upped it to $10, which is like, if you see that I doubled the price, it seems like a lot, but selling them for $5 was literally like, I was literally not even covering my materials at that point. And I started selling them at $10, and then I started selling them at $12 at some point, and they still sold out. So people definitely did not mind the turtles at $12, but I raised the prices of those turtles because I realized I needed to, not because someone told me to. Another example, at the markets that I'm doing right now, there are weekly markets, and there is another booth selling crocheted plushies, and the people that are at that booth, they are very nice, don't get me wrong, but they did come up to me and look at my prices, and they said, like, your prices are a lot cheaper than ours, like, you should really up your prices. Are you even like paying yourself enough and stuff? And I just said, oh yeah, I'm okay, thank you, but I'm not gonna up my prices because someone else told me to. I know that I could charge more for my items, like I definitely could charge more for my items and people would probably still buy them, but one thing that I really like doing with my business is keeping things as affordable as possible for other people. So of course, a lot of work goes into crocheted items and a lot of other handmade items. And pricing is totally up to you. It is not up to anybody else. So with that, like, I could up my prices like they said, but I will keep them because people really like shopping with me because I am probably the cheapest like crochet business around here, and I like it that way. It's not because my items are of lesser quality. It's not because they're not well made, and I am paying myself enough, and I will keep my prices that way because I like them how they are. I've adjusted them through the years, and I do keep adjusting them sometimes, but if I do up my prices, it's not because someone else told me, hey, you could charge more for your items. So my second tip is display matters. So when I started doing markets, I'll put some pictures up here. You'll see my table, my booth, it looks really bad. Like, you can honestly be like, that looks really bad. And I did make some sales, but it wasn't as like appealing. People probably didn't want to come to my booth because it was like pretty to look at. Kids were like, ooh, toys. So they went, but my displays and my setups now are a lot better. They've become a lot better with every market that I do. And people come in my booth and they say, wow, I love your setup. Like, it looks really good. So a good setup is really inviting for the shoppers, and they don't want to see stuff just laid out flat on the table. They want height. So one tip is really add height to your table. Whether you put wooden crates or anything like that to add height, you don't want it to just be flat, all one height. You want to have variations in your height so that there's a lot to look at when people walk into your booth. That being said though, you don't want to overwhelm the shoppers. You don't want to put too many things everywhere, but you want it to be well organized. So keep your things in categories. If you have, let's say if you crochet plushies, I like to put all my axolotls together, all my bees together, all my little mushrooms together. I like to keep them like that and not all spread out everywhere, because then it's just, if they're looking for a specific color of something, it's all there in front of them. They don't need to look around everywhere. And it's not confusing. So I like to have my things out on display, but have them organized so that it's easy for people to shop if they're looking for something specific, or it's just not too overwhelming for them. So this third tip might not apply to everybody. This probably applies mostly to crochet people out there, but I always like to bring something to crochet with me, because a lot of people say stand up, welcome people into your booth. Of course, like stand up and welcome people into your booth sometimes, but as a shopper, I would not like if I walked into someone's booth and someone was like looking over me while I was just trying to look at the products. That just makes me feel uncomfortable. So I don't like doing that to people. I obviously say hi when they come into my booth. And when I see them looking for a very long time, sometimes I'll ask them if there's something specific that they would want. And if not, I let them shop. If they talk to me, obviously I'll answer. But I won't like look over them while they're looking, because I know that that makes me feel very uncomfortable when I'm shopping. So I usually bring something to crochet with me, and I have a chair. So sometimes I'll sit down, mostly when it's not busy, I'll sit down and crochet. And when people come into my booth, I'll say hi and I'll welcome them, but I will crochet, and it really shows them that I make all my items. Everything is handmade, and it's just like, they know that crochet is handmade, but that just really shows them like that I'm making it. Like, I don't really know, obviously they know crochet is handmade, but it's just, they see it in person, they see me making an item. It just really makes it more personal, I find, and it makes them feel as if like more work goes into it when they see me do it in person. So like I said, that might only apply to crochet artists, because I mean, there's some things that you just can't bring to a market and make over there, like jewelry, I'm not sure. But I know that for crochet people, a lot of people do that. They bring something to crochet with them at the market, and I find it just makes people really see that you make everything yourself, and it makes them feel more comfortable. I find that you're not like looking over them while they're looking at all your products. Now, my next tip would be to have your prices displayed very obviously, I guess. So I have price tags on everything. So I have little tags, and I attach them to my items with a piece of yarn, and it has the price of the item on that tag. So whenever someone wants to know the price for something, they don't need to ask, they can just look. Sometimes they ask anyways because they don't see it or something like that, but it is there for them to look at. And some things like my keychains and stuff like that, I don't have price tags on it, but I have like a chalkboard right beside it that it has clearly written which keychains are how much, just because I know a lot of people don't want to ask how much an item is. Now, I guess this kind of goes with like the previous tip of people feeling uncomfortable when you're like watching over them when they're shopping. I know that I don't like asking for prices. I'm also like an introvert, but I know a lot of people are like that. They don't like going in somewhere and asking for a price. If there's no price on it, they won't even ask. They'll just leave without just knowing the price. So I find having your price out there without people having to ask is very nice, because a lot of people don't want to ask. And if they really like an item and it doesn't have a price, if they don't feel comfortable asking, they'll just leave. But if the price is on there and they know how much it is, they're a lot more likely to buy it. Now, I'm not really sure if this counts as like a tip or not, but you can have an idea of what your best sellers are, but you never really know, because for a while, bees were some of my best sellers. At one market, I had sold like so many of them, almost sold out. So I crocheted a bunch of them for the next week, and at the next market I did not even sell one bee. And the same thing happened for me for octopuses last year. I had sold out of octopuses at one market, so my next one I made a bunch of them and I didn't even sell one. So you can have an idea of what sells best, but never rely on that. Always have a good variety of items, because if you make only of what your best sellers are normally, you might not even sell. It depends on the people that are there. It depends on what they want. If they already bought from you and they bought, let's say, your bestseller item, they probably won't buy the same one again, so they might buy a different one. So just don't rely on your best sellers and always have a good variety. So those are all the market tips and tricks that I have for you guys. Hopefully I'll gain more experience throughout the years, and hopefully I'll have more tips and tricks for you guys later in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!